Marketers are a very fortunate bunch. They have a lot of technology that they can use these days to drive highly effective campaigns, from generating leads to tracking those leads, and finally turning those leads into customers in a quick, efficient, and flexible manner. Salesforce offers two powerful platforms for marketing teams and agencies in the form of Marketing Cloud and Pardot. Where Marketing Cloud is the all-singing, all-dancing, multi-application platform that can do anything and everything and do it across all channels, Pardot is more specialized in its scope, but no less powerful, and at the same time is perfect for fast implementations, so a marketing team can be up and running often in under 2 weeks. Hello, I'm Chris Henry, welcoming you to another episode of Ahead of the Curve, a podcast series produced by Gerent, a Salesforce Summit implementation partner. Now, we've taken an in-depth look at Marketing Cloud in a previous episode through the eyes of Ryan Clayton, one of Gerent's top solution architects. In this episode, we will examine Pardot and discover why it's so good at what it does. And for that, we'll tap into the expertise of Lisa French, Gerent's Pardot specialist and solution architect. Now, at first blush, Pardot may seem like the poor cousin to Marketing Cloud, but that would be wrong. If Marketing Cloud is the battleship, then Pardot is akin to a destroyer, fast, nimble, and very capable of getting the job done. So let's begin with this question. Exactly what kind of problems can Pardot solve for marketers? Here's Lisa.
So first and foremost, I would say is the quality of leads overall. So Pardot has a lead scoring and grading system that can really, I think, help marketing teams send more marketing quality leads to their sales reps. The scoring and the grading system really ensures that all of the leads that they send over to their sales reps meet a minimum threshold, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And that also that those leads have shown a very high level of interest in the business's services and or goods. So that's one thing. But another common issue that a lot of clients face is they really have no clear process for tracking valuable metrics like click-through rates or how many opportunities were won versus created from leads or from leads that were qualified and then passed to those sales reps. So I think with Pardot's marketing automation, we've been able to give clients really valuable insight into their own open and click-through rates on emails or how much they're spending per lead or what revenue is generated in a specific time period, how many closed-won deals came out of a campaign, and a lot more than that. But those are the ones that just come to mind. Mm-hmm. And then also recently, and I don't know how familiar you are with the GDPR or the General Data Protection Regulations that have been set down. Yeah. So with those new compliance rules and regulations, and also CCPA, the California Consumer Privacy Act, it makes marketing teams connecting to their potential prospects a little more difficult. With Pardot, they can ensure that the marketing team in general or any emails coming out of Pardot or with the connection to Salesforce, even emails coming out of Salesforce, are in compliance with those regulations because they use a strict permission-based email marketing policy in Pardot. It's just the way it's set up. So, they have that for them.
Well, GDPR, of course, is the set of privacy regulations introduced in Europe. So that would mean if Pardot is
Canada.
Able, and Canada, yes, correct. Mm-hmm. And that would mean then that Pardot is a truly global, safely global product. Well, that's very interesting. Yeah. Now, in terms of what it can do, is it suitable for marketing agencies, do you think?
So, yeah, that's a tricky question. Yes, it can be. Yeah. Pardot, it really powers the marketing and sales success by improving the alignment between those two teams, right? So they drive and nurture leads. But if you're a marketing agency where you're needing to track transactional purchases across multiple channels, no. Pardot definitely wouldn't be for you. However, if you're an agency that's more of a niche marketing agency, I think Pardot would definitely be suitable. If they are tracking transactional purchases across multiple channels, then I would recommend them going with something like Marketing Cloud, which is a little more robust. But if they're more of a niche market where they're just tracking one transaction type, then yeah, that definitely for them.
So perhaps direct marketers would benefit more?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's interesting. Now, Salesforce describes Pardot as a B2B solution. Can it be used in a B2C setting as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say that while it's not intended for B2C, it does contain a lot of the same things that B2C marketers are looking for: lead nurturing, lead generation, scoring, assignment, email nurturing, webinar marketing, content marketing, account based marketing, automations, and it can span across so many different industries, right? So it's not industry specific. It can provide organizations across the gambit. It can provide them insights into anything around considered purchases instead of, that's the word I was looking for a minute ago, considered purchases instead of transactional. So yeah, I mean, it could definitely be used for B2C.
So here's where we get into a bit of a gray area now going forward, and that's it's kind of a comparison between Pardot and Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Now, on the surface, it could almost appear that there's a bit of redundancy here, but let me ask you this: where does Pardot separate itself from Marketing Cloud?
So I think really the main thing is how intuitive Pardot is. I really like to say that anybody could pick up Pardot with very little practice. It is designed as a WYSIWYG, which is a what you see is what you get, meaning that if you can use tools such as Microsoft Word, or let's go back even really old like Front Page or Dreamweaver, any kind of WYSIWYG, you can definitely use Pardot. It has a much smaller learning curve. Another thing is Pardot, they provide you with an engagement studio rather than a journey builder. This is literally the most simple process if you want to set up a automation. In Engagement Studio, you literally have 4 simple steps. You have actions, which will do something; triggers, which will listen for something; rules, which will check for specific criteria; and the end, which is the end of the program. So while Journey Builder is designed to build really deep relationships in one specific area with groups of customers based on that clear goal, Engagement Studio is much more robust. And when I say robust, I mean it allows you to have multiple branches and look for multiple goals, not just one. And also, you don't need to be as technical to set up an engagement as you do a journey. But if you compare them directly, honestly, I think Pardot really separates itself by offering marketers a way to deploy campaigns, automate their marketing process, and then unite sales and marketings while offering those C-level execs really good ROI tracking.
I want to continue with this kind of comparison and ask if you can describe. I mean, basically, Pardot's an email service provider with a whole lot of muscle behind it. But then so is Email Studio from Marketing Cloud, and it's an ESP as well. So what are the differences there?
So I'll be honest, the biggest difference is that Email Studio is a little bit more robust than Pardot. But that's not necessarily always a good thing, because with all those bells and whistles comes challenges, bloat, and a much steeper learning curve. But both of them empower you to create simple templates. Both can be segmented based on data in Salesforce. Both can automate scheduling. So, I mean, the differences as far as the emailing capabilities, there really are none.
Now, can Pardot work well with Salesforce the way Marketing Cloud does? I mean, Marketing Cloud sort of takes off from where Salesforce leaves off.
Yeah, so actually Pardot is built on Salesforce, right? So, I mean, yes, it is an integration, but it is actually on the Salesforce platform. So when you log into Salesforce, you log into Pardot. It's right there on Salesforce. You never have to leave Salesforce to use Pardot. With Marketing Cloud, it's a completely different platform.
Now, let me add in the element of AI here, because AI is throughout Marketing Cloud, and that and that helps to give it its punch, of course. Is Pardot utilizing Einstein as well?
Yeah, Pardot Einstein is amazing. It helps you track behavior scoring, lead scoring, campaign. It gives you campaign insights. That's really one of the key releases, recent releases, that is helping sales and marketing teams make those better decisions, right? So I believe Salesforce actually refers to Pardot Einstein as a turnkey AI, which means you don't have to have this long implementation. You don't have to have training for this feature. You literally flip a switch and you're up and running, and it's tracking that scoring, that, those behaviors, those campaigns.
Tell me a little bit more about why Pardot is more straightforward, the Marketing Cloud, why it's easier to use.
So for me, I think it's because it is built on Salesforce, or it is fully integrated with Salesforce. It's on Salesforce. So if you're already used to using Salesforce, there's really zero learning curve at all. But even if you don't currently use Salesforce, right, Pardot is still very intuitive. The user interface is very straightforward. It isn't bloated with those unnecessary elements that can really drag down your performance. And to get up and running, you don't need to know any code. You don't even have to have an IT person operate it. In fact, you don't even have to be tech savvy at all, really. Everything is click over code, drag and drop. Even building out a very complex automation flow, or if you're comparing to Marketing Cloud, their customer journey, the automation flow is a very straightforward process that has a visual design element that most clients adopt very, very quickly.
It sounds like it might be ideal for perhaps smaller companies with limited IT departments. Is that a fair statement to make?
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. There's really no need for the IT team to ever touch Pardot. It's that simple. The marketing team can pick it up and run with it. I mean, there are a few elements. Let me back step a little. There are a few elements that you may need help from the IT team, such as getting the DNS settings and things like that from them. But then once they have got the information they need, even that is simple for the marketing team to do, because all the steps are laid out for them in detail, as well as multiple help documents that will, if they can't quite figure it out. But it's very straightforward. It's copy and paste stuff. So yeah.
What's intriguing about Pardot, says Lisa, is that it can be integrated with any of the dozen or so applications within Marketing Cloud to create a unique and impressive combination of strengths and talents.
Most say we want Pardot or we want Marketing Cloud, like it's some kind of tug of war between the two. There actually is real value in integrating some of the features into Pardot. And while it's not a native way, there's not a native way to do this, there are a lot of third-party apps that help you make those connections. And when would a marketer want to do this? When they need to gather prospects, nurture and score leads, and build relationships on multiple channels through a customer journey. So if they need the full gambit, right, that's when I would say they need to be able to do that.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you've just made an argument that Pardot and Marketing Cloud together, the sum is greater than the parts.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think using Marketing Cloud and Pardot is overlooked a lot. And I think it mostly has to do with that price tag, right? So it's not a cheap venture for sure, to use both of them in conjunction with one another, but they really each of them has their own strengths, right? So for Pardot, it's really about marrying that sales team with that marketing team and tracking all of the important metrics for the sales team, as well as the marketing team and the managers and the C-level. And for Marketing Cloud, it's about that customer journey, right? So when you marry those two, it's amazing. It makes it the most powerful system I've ever seen.
Lisa French has done many, many Pardot implementations for Gerent as the solution architect, and she has numerous examples of where the product has literally transformed ordinary marketing efforts into highly successful campaigns.
One that really stands out to me, probably because it was a very recent one, they really lacked the standard means of qualifying and nurturing their incoming leads or prospects. They really couldn't accurately capture their pipeline opportunities or track interactions with dealers and contractors. They were struggling, to make a long story short. They needed to be able to transition into like a unified sales and marketing platform. So that they could really minimize the company's manual reporting as well. So there was a lot going on for them, and to that end, we implemented Pardot. Now, after doing so, they reported to us that not only could they accurately capture their pipeline opportunities, they were able to really capture some robust reporting without all those unnecessary manual interventions that they had previously. And they were also, more importantly, in my opinion, able to establish some best practices for their lead qualifications and sales distribution. So I think by the end of that implementation, they had really achieved a unified sales and marketing platform that suited their needs. And while not saying their name, they are a top tier player in the construction materials industry. So it has helped their business quite a bit. Another one we helped had issues with their overall visibility into the sales process itself, right? To determine which marketing strategies were working and what wasn't. They also had a lack of reporting capabilities and a severe phobia of, they were afraid that they would not have good user adoption by going into something like Pardot. They had been using one of the free tools. I won't name names, but there are some free tools that allow you to do very, very simple email marketing. But anyway, so they were afraid that the switch wasn't going to be easy. But I think due to our Quick Start program that we used, not only were we able to get them to a rapid realization of value, but they were able to gain a full visibility into their pipeline and entire sales cycle from lead generation all the way through the deal closure, which is exactly what they needed and wanted. Which really helped the sales and marketing leaders to manage campaigns a lot closer. And it gave them the ability to really, I would say, execute sophisticated targeted campaigns. That was their word, not ours. so that relevant information could be brought forward and allow them to track those ROI insights and drive key marketing decisions. And I think in the end, the intuitiveness that I spoke of earlier is what led to not only very good user adoption, but a very high user adoption rate. So much so that they actually ended up having to add more licenses during the 2-week Quick Start.
Yeah, glad you mentioned Quick Start again, because that's one of the services that Gerent offers, which gets a customer up and running in a very limited amount of time, doesn't it?
Yes, that is correct. We offer Quick Starts across most of our programs. Pardot in particular has a very quick start. We have a 2-week Quick Start that gets you set up, gets you connected with all of the Salesforce goodies, the accounts, the leads, the opportunities, contacts, campaigns, user sync, and helps you establish at least one template, get your vanity URLs in places as live. It sounds like you're not getting a big bang for your buck, but you're getting a really big bang for your buck. So yeah, a lot of the programs across Gerent have a Quick Start.
Yeah, and that's certainly one of the added benefits, one of the value adds, you might say, that Gerent brings to the table as an implementation partner.
Yes, I agree. I think, most of the time, our Quick Start customers, I think, want the Quick Start because they have a need right now, right? They have something that has to be achieved in the immediate rather than in the future. So they're looking for somebody who's knowledgeable, who's friendly, and who can just get the job done. And I think that our reputation speaks for itself. We've got tons of success stories that, we're happy to share.
So marketers have choices here. If you have the need and the budget, Marketing Cloud may suit you just fine, but it comes with caveats. It can be complicated and tricky to use. However, if you have the need on a tight budget, Pardot is certainly the product to consider. Either way, Gerent's talented solution architects like Lisa French and Ryan Clayton, who we heard from in episode 37, can get the job done for you. You've been listening to Ahead of the Curve, produced by Gerent in cooperation with Salesforce. Special thanks to Lisa French for sharing her knowledge and success stories around Pardot and for being part of this episode. Our technical producer is Dave Grine from the Acme Podcasting Company in Toronto. I'm Chris Henry. Thanks for sharing your time with us.